Morning, friends. Thanks for being here again. Um, Today I thought I'd get to the nub of the matter, really, having spoken about some philosophical things yesterday and taste, but hopefully you've got a sense of the problem that I'm trying to draw attention to. When I was at Chelsea, um, the obviously the American abstract expressionists were still very potent. And um, there were two, for those friends that may not know them, there were two giants of American criticism, Clement Greenberg, otherwise known as Hardesh, and Harold Rosenberg. And these two guys, these two old guys, um, it started out from a sort of similar place, but throughout their career, they ended up very bitter rivals and coming from two different perspectives. And I'm going to set those out. I'm going to I'm going to reduce that discussion, oversimplify it, but for the sake of the association, really. Um, so Greenberg believed in formality and was known as a formalist. And Rosenberg believed in sort of painting being an event, a record of an event. And from that, you had the different associations you had. And surprisingly, Greenberg was very attuned to Jackson Pollock because he believed there was a formalist discussion going on in Pollock's work. Um, and what at the time made me sort of question these polemical uh, arguments between them was that my one of my favourite artists, Robert Motherwell, was sort of favoured by Rosenberg, and I didn't understand. I mean, for me, Motherwell was not in that camp. Um, you know, Rosenberg was also dedicated to de Kooning, and that then later had sort of implications for Guston's sort of picking up his electric guitar of figuration. And and on Greenberg's side, you know, you've got people like Helen Frankenthaler and Hoffman, and you know, I mean, not much between them, you'd think, but there were certain subtleties about their approach. Um, Again, notably, Greenberg was he felt that the formalism was about rejecting political influence. It was a sort of a subject in its own right to be studied, and there wasn't political. And part again, this was reflected in some of Motherwell's thinking about it being an ethical exercise, um, whereas Rosenberg was very much a Marxian critic, and everything was sort of informed by that. And so he saw the act of event as being without constraint and therefore a rejection of convention. And I know some of you are very much on that side today, as I've faced your. But my perspective is, well, again, finishing off that. You know, the Greenberg side of things is that formal derivation of things and investigation has led to sort of reductionism. But he, when it came to minimalism, felt that that was then becoming conceptual, and the formalism of painting, picture making, what was happening on a 2D surface, that tradition was being undermined. And I think so. This is my feeling is that both happen, both perceptions occur, and for me, I want to combine those two things in it, as you've already heard me say. And I think there's a sort of parallel with the dualist debate, mind and body. You know, I think those two things I'm trying to unify those two things in a work. Um, so hopefully that's put a bit of context in it, and you might. Well, I'd be interested to know whether you think you would now agree, or whether you still think that they are separate and disparate tribal points of view. Anyway, thanks for being there. Cheers.